Roman, and you are listening to Affiliate Business Conversation, the weekly podcast where we talk about anything digital marketing related with a special focus on affiliate marketing. We tend to keep these conversations short and straight to the point. We know that you are busy and we do respect that. Today, with me online, Ian Fernanda and Aki, my brother Aki. They will introduce themselves later on, but we gathered here to talk about information overload in the industry. We are going to discuss today the evolution of information, the rise of gurus, and why a consolidated information channel is so important. And we're also going to discuss how information overload is bad in general, why access to information is bad, and how important it is to have the right source of information to trust. And guys, how are you doing today?
Doing good, thank you.
Doing well, man. Super.
Just to give you a word of introduction, Ian, I think it's better if you introduce yourself just really shortly for those who might never heard of you.
Yeah, no problem. So my name's Ian Fernando. I've been in the online marketing space roughly 15 years, and I've done a huge venue of things from being a product owner to affiliate marketing team to information product to being an Amazon reseller to owning my own products, et cetera. So I've done the full scope of anything to do with the digital online space.
Aki, and a short introduction word about you, man.
Sure, as short as possible. Been in online marketing for almost 10 years. Started off with having a couple websites, SEO, then moved into affiliate marketing, and been a media buyer for a while. And now, since almost 4 years, launched Affiliate Business Club first events with the goal to connect people worldwide and to really set the standard of networking. And now new platform launching, exciting times with all of you guys, and also with the same thing to bring good to the industry.
Right. Thanks, Aki. And about myself, just a few words before we dive into this conversation. I'm Roman. I'm currently hosting this podcast. I've been in the industry for a number of years, also done media buying, former affiliate, made a number of businesses, and now just trying to connect people and make life of affiliates a little bit easier when it's possible. So we are ready to begin. Ian, I want you to address this question because you actually raised the topic. You are stating that information overload is bad. Bad information overload is when you have too much information. Ian, why is that even a problem? Why is that even a problem for you?
Yeah, so I believe right now the information there's too much information right now, right? And the way I've seen this evolving is when I first started on the internet, especially online marketing, trying to find information, trying to educate myself, right? I had to look at the so-called gurus back in the day, like the Mike Phil Same, the Mark Joyner, Joel Combs, to see who they are and what I can learn from them about online marketing. So there was really not a lot of blogs. So back then, there was a lot of information overload just because there was not a lot of information. But now there's too much information that you don't even know the truth between the right aspects of marketing or how to do something. You know what I mean? So people have to do multiple research to find out who I am. Do I trust Ian? Do I trust what he's doing? Versus there was only 5 people to actually look up to back in the day. And I think it's just dangerous right now because the amount of information that we consume is so sporadic, from like text to video to looking at TikTok, and the distraction of that is so heavily burdened on one person that it just becomes too much. And that information overload, or concept of information overload, becomes tiring on somebody. So then they have to start questioning themselves. Is this information good? Can I actually do this information? Who's right? Who's wrong? And everything on the internet right now can technically be fake. A person can just make a fake avatar, make fake followings, and make them look like an authentic person. Whereas, again, back in the day, with so much little information, um, there was only like five people to look up to, but you consume so much of that only five people that you're like, okay, there's a lot to really consume. We're actually taking sporadic information now. And most of those times where there's little information, there's a lot of information now, it's still the same concept of overload. And then how do you validate that overload becomes the question in this industry or in any niche specifically.
When you started your way, like what was it, 15 years ago, what kind of information could you find online, if any, at all? You mentioned a few gurus, but as for real information,
Yeah, so there's one thing, for example, it was one of my first few ebooks that I made was how to convert a Windows WMV file to a QuickTime MOV file. So I couldn't even find nothing on there. I actually had to, took me a couple of days to actually find that information. And then I found that information and turned it into an ebook because it was so hard to actually find that information. So there was so little information back in the day that people actually seeked information, right? Whereas today there's so much information, you really don't have to seek. You just have to type it in, and boom, the first two things on Google or YouTube, and the answers are right there. With the gurus, I mean, I wouldn't say gurus per se, but you only had a very few mentors. You had like Mark Joyner's, Joel Comm, Dan Kennedy's, um, and maybe you had Jonathan Volk, you had Shoe Money, you had John Chow, you had ProBlogger.net. All right, there was not a lot of bloggers, affiliate marketers, eBay information actually picked up where you can be like, oh, I can do this, learn from his mistakes, right? You actually had to do it and learn that experience on your own. Where today, people are just so scared to do stuff because they read so much negative impact of what people have been doing for their businesses that it takes them a while to actually take action. And I think that's where scarcity is.
Aki, do you also think that nowadays, if someone wants to start learning the basics of affiliate marketing, it's too complicated to find a good and trusted source of information for those people who are completely not from the industry?
Well, I think now what you find is there's so many different sources that, well, at least say it like this. I think whatever information you find, uh, I believe it's good to stick to one direction, and because there's so many different people explaining different ways about the same thing that you can get lost in the way it works. So if you let's say for an example, you buy a course or you follow one guru, just follow this course or this guru because probably it will be easier than following 10 little parts from 10 different gurus about how to do Facebook or how to scale whatever, and I think this is the I think the moment we're in right now. It's super easy to get lost, as Ian said and you say, in the overload, but it is easy to fix if you just follow one straight tactic. So either you, let's say, same with forums, or it doesn't matter where you get the information from. I think it would be good to start off with one place, and once you know the basics and you have a certain standard, you can definitely get some information from different parts. But then don't do, let's say, an ecom course from a Nick Peroni, and then a different one from Nick Shackelford, and then a different one from, let's say, Chase Dimond. Like, you take little bits from everyone and try to make it as a whole. Because all of these guys, they've already proven what they can do, and they've made it as easy as possible for the people out there. So if you follow this one straight course, or at least one straight path, or one straight source of information, then I think the overload is used in a good way. But yeah, as I said, if you're going to watch 10 different courses about e-commerce or Facebook advertising or Facebook scaling, you're just going to get lost with 10 different tactics, with 10 different ways of how to implement stuff, with 10 different ways of copywriting, anything. So whatever you do, I believe, just follow one straight thing. And once you get to a certain level, then yeah, follow different course or different people.
Okay, you are a former affiliate yourself, and I'm just curious to know what was the most crucial information for you to look for at the beginning, like when you started your affiliate marketing journey. Was it anything about the
Um,
basics or how that works in
uh,
general?
it's pretty funny to say because I was just literally talking yesterday to a guy called JP from Holland. So shout out to JP if you ever watch this. Thank you for getting me started in affiliate marketing. Um, like the way how he basically like showed me. He didn't really show me. He just said like read this, read this, read this, and I started reading stuff on Google what he read, and he actually created a biz up offer, the first one of the Netherlands, and where I learned so much of the basic stuff. Where I was like, "Fuck, man, I need to know more about it." But actually, he then showed me like STM back then, and I started off at STM. Also, shout out to all the STM guys because it's a great source of information. And from there, read stuff. But after, I think this is what most people did: 1 2 months, get as much information out of it, and then try and implement it. The moment you start digging into information, you keep on clicking on more stuff where you can read more information. That's what I had. So at one moment, I also got lost. I went back to JP, asked him like, "Hey man, what should I do?" And he just said, "Len, whatever you do, just if you want to start with SEO on websites, just start off with SEO on websites." From there, also I went into ebooks, and then from there into affiliate marketing. But at one moment, I was trying like it's like the shiny object, you know. It's like you constantly think, "Oh, I can make money here, I can make money there," and you see people making money in pops, you see people making money on email and on Facebook, at one moment I was like, "Fuck, I just need to at least follow." Not only one source of information, but also like one vertical and one traffic source. Because even with the source of information or traffic source, you can promote so many different things. I lost a lot of money there, and also was I was trying to implement so many information from different people, how they did it, but actually they weren't doing the exact same thing what I did. So at one moment, I was just like really focused on one thing, and from there it grew like yeah, you find your way, you find what you feel comfortable with, you see what's succeeding. And also I learned a lot what I really didn't like. So I think it's not only to follow the things what you like, but I think that the main lesson for a lot of people is also you have to find out like something what you're really not good at. And I wasn't good in many traffic sources, and I believed always like, oh, I really want to do pops. I really did because I started off with pops, and because it was my first way of making money, I kept on believing it should be the way for me to go to. But then eventually I learned Facebook, and then I realized, hey man, actually I sucked at pops. I like other people can be good at it. I know Ian does a lot of pops and push, but for me personally, when I was making my first 1 2K a month, I was like, fuck man, I'm the man. Pop, I need to focus on pops. I really thought like this is my game, this is what I have to do. But once you start realizing and yeah, luckily I think by the network I also grew and talking to the right people, I went into Facebook, and after I really like noticed, man, pops is not my thing, and it showed me. But I think also you step from one thing into the other by also talking to other people, reading, but I always kept following just one straight source of information and not like 100 things, because yeah, it fucks up with your brain also and your money. So
Agree. You better not to
Agreed.
jump around. Ian, did that sort of peer-to-peer conversation also play a significant part when you started? Could you find people to talk to and
Yeah,
share
so
experience
back in the
with?
day, I guess it was difficult. I was definitely in a bunch of forums from like Digital Point, Entrepreneur, Startup. There was Warrior Forum. Um, so I was definitely heavy in the forums back in the day because that was the only source or portal of social community where I can be like, hey, I need help here, and then what kind of feedback can I get? And that was the only source. And that's why when STM came up, it was like the number one forum back in the day, just because there was a bunch of people that needed help with just traffic. Because the free forums, such as like Digital Point and Warrior Forum, they didn't really do that well for me because of just so much saturation of freeloaders people that were just giving free advice, which there's no experience behind their advice. Whereas since STM was a paid platform, it was more so, oh, these guys are just like me, right? And I did meet a bunch of them at all these affiliate conferences, mostly from like the affiliate summits, especially and ad techs back in the day. But
Don't
as
you don't
for
don't you think that forums are also overloaded nowadays? Because like last time I went to browse on forums around, I was amazed at how much informations are posted there every day. And I'm just thinking, I'm trying to imagine if you are a newbie and you navigate to one of those forums and you are just stuck where to start from, how to begin. Would you agree with that?
yeah, yeah. So when back in the day, right? I just had to look at every thread and be like, oh, this is okay. This doesn't work for me. This isn't what I'm doing. Whereas now we want to create something where it's like, oh, you just go to the library, pick up what you want, pull it out, and read it, right? And the problem with forums back in the day, and it's still true to this day, that you have to use the search bar, right? And then you might find a step that a key did 5 years ago, which doesn't probably work today, but his post had so much discussions and great feedback, but a good 98% of those feedback and help articles and strategies and feedback will probably not work currently right now. And that's where the issue is happening. And this is going back to the first intro of like that information overload. Even though we have all that information, which is good, but that stuff doesn't work in marketing. And marketing nowadays changes super, super fast from month to month. Whereas when I first started, it was literally like every 2 years. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you had a good year of like catching up and understanding, whereas now you really have to be on top of your marketing game. And this is why I think what we're doing is trying to create a platform where, yes, you can discuss what you have, and then pull out information that's specific for your specific topic. Oh, I want to start with push. Let me go to the library, pull it out, read the tactics, and be hyper focused on that, as he was saying, right? Because if you're bouncing from push and then you go to pop and then you go to Google, and you actually didn't take any action on all of those, it becomes actually pointless. And then you just become so confused because you're like, oh, this strategy works for push, but why doesn't it work for Google? And you're not supposed to think like that when it comes to marketing. I think structure and how I teach people is to have a baseline foundation of how to do online marketing. So that's my thing.
Let's guys a little bit talk about gurus because that's the topic, being discussed often, and we quite often make fun of it, and so on. Guys, I have always had this simple question: why someone who is successful and busy running campaigns on daily basis would want to teach anyone, especially for free? Do you probably have a simple answer to this question?
Yeah. People just
You go first.
I think
Yeah, Ian, go first.
it's a quick, easy money, or two, people actually genuinely want to help people, right? Because I've been reading as I'm trying to find myself in this world, my purpose in this world. I always read about like, oh, we're on this world to serve. So yes, it's so much easier to sell to people in the evergreen niches like lose weight and finance and dating. But I think there are also some people that are genuinely out there to try to help people as well. But the rise of gurus is just too intense just because there's so many people that do need help.
Aki, what is your thinking?
Um, I think most, well, not a lot, like we definitely know some good gurus. I think all of us know some, well, good gurus. But why most people do it is, like, for example, I know a guy who made, let's say, less than a million even last year, this year. I mean, with ecom, and he started his own course for 1K, and I know he sold it almost for like 700-800 times. So it's a quick 700 800,000 euros what he made. It's a Dutch guy,
Not
and
bad.
it's almost as much. It's nice, but it's probably more than what he made with his ecom stores. And it's an easier way because it's, yeah, you make it once, you put in time once. He definitely gives value, And for most people, an investment, let's say between 500 or 2,500, in between, it's not much, and they're willing to invest this kind of money for a course. So it's the same thing what we talked about earlier, the information overload. If you follow one thing from one guru, then you can get your results. But if you buy 5 courses and do like follow 5 different advices, then most probably you won't make anything, or like little. So why they do it? I think it's pure easy buck. Yes, they want to help people. I also have a feeling that some guys have want to feed their ego, like see, like, hey, look, I helped 6 people made 10K or whatever. But in the end, I think even if it's ego or not, once you help people and if you've changed someone's lives, then you've already done your job. And it's all about even not even changing with money, but also sometimes with the mindset or belief. And yeah, I'm not against courses at all. I think courses are a great source, and people should definitely do it. And I think also gurus should get paid if they really deliver value. But I know a lot of gurus that just deliver or haven't delivered in the past,
A lot of them.
and
Yeah, that
yeah,
that
a
is that
lot.
is
And
actually my idea behind it, because what I think is that you either busy every day running your campaign, or you busy every day to structure a good course, and those things are kind of cannot go together.
Yeah,
And
they're
what
definitely
I
contradicting for sure.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
definitely
They
contradicting
are
for
indeed.
sure.
For me, courses could be fallen into two different groups. First, that I don't believe in, that promise you results. They promise you to make money after a certain period of time. It just never
Mhm.
works, on my opinion. Again, and another type of courses that I do believe in is that they promise you to teach you the basics. Like, look, here is the Facebook ads. That's how that works. That's how to create a campaign. That's how to analyze it. That's what affiliate network is, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But again, if a guru promises me to teach me how to make money with 100% certainty, for me it would be no go. Guys, at first glance,
There is
what
no
are
certainty.
no go
yeah,
for you? If you are targeted with that guru ad at first glance, what would be for you no go sign?
yeah. I agree because there's this one thing that I hate, especially like in the ClickFunnels group. Like Russell Brunson teaches, if you want to learn a skill, teach that skill to learn the skill, which is like the bullshittest thing ever to actually do. Like people are opening agencies with no skill set in marketing and charging clients 5K, and then they go into ClickFunnels saying, "Oh, I just got a client for 5K. How do I run his Facebook marketing ad?" I'm like, "What the fuck? It's crazy." You know what I mean? And the thing is
Yeah.
with gurus, it's like, yeah, you can spend money in a campaign, but you make so much more money in learning. And this goes back to that information overload. There's so much information now that you need to find somebody that is doing the most marketing for their courses, right? Because then you're like, oh, he's branding himself so well that he has to be that guy. Whereas back in the day, there was only literally like less than 10 people, that were actually teaching marketing, right? So you can only go to these 10 people. Whereas now there's so many that people who do their own marketing that intensely, you know, makes you look like, oh, he actually knows what he's doing because he's marketing his own self instead of doing campaigns. So there's that argument there. But gurus, like I tried to do information courses for online marketing, and I found out that I'm not a good teacher. I'm a good coach, right? So I'm more of the person that is like, hey, I set up my campaign, but I don't know what these acronyms mean and how to look at these acronyms. So I'll go in and be like, oh, well, your CTRs are high. Do you understand how the backend works? And that's how I kind of like teach and coach, right? And it's the reason why like I made Adventures, which Bird merged today with ABC, and I want to give that more feedback. Whereas I'd rather talk to actionable people than people that don't take action, right? Because the reason why gurus succeed is because there's step by step by step blueprints that this tactic will never work tomorrow when the marketing market changes. right? And that is the issue. They expect so much, they don't want to learn. And there's obviously a lot. That's why diet pills are so prominent right now. That's why Tinder is so popular. It's the ease of just instant
Easy way,
gratification.
yeah,
Yeah, that
exactly.
instant gratification is actually going away, right? So,
Aki, what is for you a no-go sign when you are being targeted with those guru ads? At your first glance, you can say, no, that's going to be a bullshit.
Uh, well, my opinion is I think biased, but I at least I always look people up and I try and look what type of person it is by how they're putting themselves out there with the image. So if they're just showing screenshots and Lamborghinis and stuff, I'm just looking at, I know you want to show that you made money, but it's not my type of way of showing or something. So I know you need to show it in a way, but like showing how much you have in materialistic things is not the way how a guru nowadays should position themselves. So um, yeah, I think that really like posing with cars and flights and money and stuff as a guru and trying to sell your course this way, I mean, it's really outdated. I think it worked like 10 years ago because
yeah,
people were like doing like, actually, that's how JP did it, like nice car, like my guy who I learned everything from. Nice car, beach, you want to work on Tuesday, look at this nice car. It works, but it's not what people want nowadays anymore, you know? And I think also nowadays it looks more like a show off than actually like trying to help people. So, and I look like how many times I'm getting retargeted sometimes. Like I know if a guy retargets me 6 times, I know he's got money to spend. So people are buying his course. There must be some kind of
Exactly.
value, right? Like don't get me wrong, but he has more money or she, sorry, to acquire a customer more because of all the retargeting. So there must be, in my opinion, be something good that he has more money to spend to acquire a customer. So it's not only like one simple Facebook ad; it's like constantly seeing it everywhere. I would look this person up, and I also like read reviews. And honestly, I know because I'm based in Holland and Amsterdam, I looked up quite some Dutch guys just to see how their funnels working and the reviews, and found out that a lot of these guys are legit guys. And then I'm like, hey, it's cool to see because the way they're promoting themselves is not like, hey, I bought an ape and I want you to help your parents. And I know we're in an age where I think our generation more than ever can help our parents or family because we're young. It wasn't like that 20 years ago. And when someone says it in their message, I'm like, hey, man, it's a nice way of thinking, you know?
yeah.
It's how it should be.
Yeah,
Agree
I
with
just
And
think
that.
like now it's just crazy because you're right. The people now are like, okay, we are living now in a state of here's my money as fast you can take it as fast as you can. Whereas back in the day, everybody was so hesitant to give their money out, so that's why they
yeah,
had to show off so hard. Now it's just easy
Yeah,
by just hit, boop, click a phone and boom. You really don't need to have that much social proof besides things on like
yeah,
Facebook or Reddit or whatnot, right?
agree with
But
that.
this this thing is like all this information is just not good for people. Just because, yeah, there are legit guys out there, but how do you take that legitimized person, and then when you get their course, it's like, this is bullshit. I already knew this from Warrior Forum or whatnot, right? There's a lot of downside to all these gurus. You know what I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's why you have all these YouTube channels talking about gurus, and how shitty some of them are. You know what I mean?
You know, guys,
I know Paul J does it.
I was just
Paul J,
Yeah. Paul J does a good
shout out.
job at it.
I was just thinking that I
But
even
what's
more.
your view, Roman?
Yeah, I'm just thinking even that I would probably trust a bit more to courses that are brought to me by some probably networks or services because I can clearly see why they want to educate me. I mean, they want to educate me so I'm able to drive traffic for them or something like that. And to be quite frankly, for all of us, and who have been around for a while and not going anywhere, we are all interested in having more educated professional affiliates those who know how to play the game, because if those guys don't know how to play the game, they might ruin this game for us also. So we're kind of, all interested to educate affiliates. But my question to you guys and to myself also, what do we want to teach them? What are those basics that we want everyone to understand to be able to play this game? Ian, can you address this one first?
Yeah, so I think it is consolidated social learning, I guess, right? And the reason why I say that is because the only way I learned was asking, getting feedback, and then doing it myself, right? There are a lot of people nowadays that just ask, get the feedback, but don't really take any action. There's also a lot of people that do a lot of research for 2 weeks and don't take any action. Like I'm the type of person that will, if I have a problem, I'll go on YouTube and then actually that same day try to do it as well, right? Um, so what I want to clarify with information and learning is to set a basic foundation of how to do something. So then you can take this never ending skill and always move it to a campaign or to an e-com or to your digital product, or maybe you want to do a brick and mortar, but you still have this basic skill set of how to capture leads, how to look up audiences, how to use Google AdWords, etc. So I think it's super important that there is legitimate feedback because you have to be with your peers and people that are actually taking action. This way you feel um, committed that okay, my whole party is actually doing and making some money that I want to be like them. It's like when I go to the gym, and if I go to a gym that's empty, I don't feel that motivated. But if I'm in a gym and there's like five beautiful women working
Full
out,
of
like
pumped
I'm gonna
guys.
push. You know what I mean? Or guys, man, five beautiful guys
Yeah.
pushing, right? That I'm gonna have to push myself because that energy gives you that room, and that's that social system. But I also want to be able to give somebody a course. Like I have an incomplete affiliate guide, and the purpose of that guide is to just give you the basics from acronym to traffic, how to look at numbers, etc. And now my goal is to like go to the library, pull out a book or a course about push or pop, and here are what you need to know, right? And then you can take that skill set and move it to any network. Yes, interfaces, traffic sources are totally different from network to network, but they all are the same. Push has a standard line of X amount of characters. It's all impression based. It's all CPM based. You can do it by CPCs, etc. Right? So that's how I feel um, the learning should be. Like he said earlier, it needs to be hyper focused on one thing, and then having the feedback of a community to support you in your ups and downs. And I think that's what's been missing in the industry. It's the reason why STM has been super successful creating the meetups and their affiliate world and all that. But it also is kind of scattered. And I want to try to make this circle tighter and tighter and have a hyper focused group of people that are taking more action than anything.
Before Aki address this one, I would also like to have a little say, and just why I'm doing all of that, and why I am interested to teach people the basics at least. That's why we do affiliate virtual summit. That's why we deliver people quality content. In my opinion, it just I want to have more strong affiliates around. I really do believe that we have enough traffic, we have enough space for much more people. And if we have more successful affiliates, all of us, myself, Yuaki, Ian, we're all gonna make more money just all together. That's one of the motivation that is behind my action. If I'm able to educate some people, even a little fraction, then it's gonna get back to me soon or late. What comes around goes around, as people say. Aki, what is your motivation behind what you do? Why would you want to educate affiliates and onboard more people to this ship?
Well, actually, I think that it was the main reason why I started ABC was really to connect people with each other and lay down open my network. I'm pretty sure everyone kind of like knows me as a great networker and have built a strong network in the whole industry. And I've always wanted to help people get a step further with what they were looking for. So that's why we organize all the meetups worldwide. And even now with the new social learning platform of Experience, what we're going to be launching, it's the same kind of thing. It's really to help people get to the next step, but also we want to have people inside that are open to helping other people. And it's as you say, the moment you help other people, that's when we all make more together. And I feel that this is one of the main, I think the main mission of ABC is really to help people out there, whatever they're looking for, either if it's information, if it's contacts, if it's tools or whatever, we're there to help. And I think everyone out there in the community has to have the same mentality and not only take, because I know it sounds like cliche, but I really believe like in giving is living. And I've always felt so good when I could have helped someone with an introduction. And I know I've helped maybe hundreds of people with introductions, and they've made money. Some guys even make thousands or hundred thousands. And I've never asked something, but it just felt so good being able to help people. And as you say, like what goes around comes around. Sooner or later, it will come back. If it's not this year, then next year. It's not to this person, then to another person. And I think this is the whole, again, said mission, and the philosophy is really like just giving as much as possible. And I think from there, people will always bring on more people on there once they feel like, hey, they've learned something. It's just a word of mouth, right? Like why did the ABC events become so successful at one point or have a lot of people? It's because at one moment people really knew we can meet the right people at these events. And yeah, it's definitely a certainty of like hard work. And but as I said, like also good organization, and people need to understand like I'm not there to only take out information, but I also need to give something to the people and
And
bring
that
stuff.
is the fundamental thing I believe we should probably teach new affiliates. That's willingness to not only give, not only take, but also give,
Yeah.
also provide. Because guys, I don't know if you have ever noticed that, but I always see that affiliates, many of professional affiliates, like top affiliates, are constantly afraid of competition. But I personally believe that the industry is just huge, and someone who is running the same traffic source, the same vertical that yourself, is not going to um, harm your business at all. Would you agree with that statement also?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when that's why when people ask me like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm pretty open about my strategy. Just because I'm spending an X amount of budget and you're probably starting out to reach the type of conversion I'm at, so you're going to have to reach the same amount of budget spend as well, right? And granted, there's not a lot of traffic sources out there. I mean, there is, but there's also a ton of other affiliates that are also buying traffic. So there's not just one person running this one offer in this one country. There's probably 10, 20, hundreds of other affiliates doing the same exact thing. The only thing you're competing on is just bids, right? So I don't ever think that's why I don't feel like there should be a person that gives away or should be scared of giving away their strategies. Because I do believe that sharing is caring. When I first started, I had my meetups to share my endeavors so then I can be criticized on my marketing. Because I know I'm not an expert, right? I know I have the skill set to do it. I just want to make sure that, hey, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? What is your process, right? I'm very open-minded on processes and questions.
And guys, before we wrap it up, I would also like us to briefly discuss trusted source of information. And let's first define together what is a right credible source of information. How do we recognize the one? Aki, can you start first?
Oh, definitely not Google. No, just joking.
Or Wikipedia.
No, no, it's just like well, just sort of information. If it's at least look back from my what how it worked for me. I just asked like really the help of networks because I remember back in the days, my affiliate managers or network owners, I really asked them to help me out where I could, how I could scale campaigns or do something. And I was super open about numbers. I was saying like, hey man, I'm doing this amount of revenue. My target of my goal is to double it in the next 3 months. Can you please tell me what to do, what to read, what to follow? Maybe you know some people to talk to, I should talk to, so I can double it. And I think asking these questions and also being clear what my goal was, not to be like, hey man, I'm doing these numbers and can you help me out? Or just be more
I want to
specific. Like
become a
I'm
millionaire.
stuck here. Yeah, but at one moment for example, I thought I had to scale certain things, and then this guy was like, "No, man, you need to hire this person first before you're going to scale." And I would never have thought of it, you know, and to bring myself more peace of mind. And I think like really like being specific what you want to know. And if I look at the reading part, yes, STM has helped me out a lot. Actually, also Warrior Form, I almost forgot about them, Ian, when you mentioned it, but Warrior Form was probably the first form I actually started reading.
Is it still around, by the
And
way?
Yeah, still
it's
around.
The
still
very
around. Yes. But and also I asked for some people like really to if they had guides, and I remember getting this mobile marketing guide from fuck, who was this guy? He had a big tattoo on his neck, and he was like his baller.
Oh,
I don't know what's the
Rock,
guy's name
Rock,
again? Rock.
Rock. Yeah, from yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and he wrote, but that's what I mean with following one advice. I read this, so this was like an 80-page PDF guide, but he was explaining everything, every
It was
step
for
of.
like mobile, right?
It was for mobile marketing,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And he explained everything what to do. And actually, I got this guide from talking to one of the owners of the affiliate networks I was working with back in the days, and he just said, "If you follow this guide, you're going to make money with mobile." And I was like, "Dude!" So it's again the overload coming back as how we started, following one thing, one trusted. But if I would look at now, I would definitely say STM. Lift is good. Obviously, Affiliate Fix from it used to be from Oliver Kenyon, um, and I'm sure soon we'll also be like the go-to place because we're launching our platform. Busy with a
Exactly.
lot of content. So it's
Yeah,
we just want to make things easy with video content and every traffic source and affiliate network. So yeah, follow
So,
us.
what we are trying to create here is consolidated source of information. Ian, in your thinking, in
yeah,
your opinion, what that must include?
yeah. I think what the goal of ABC is to really take curated, consolidated information where you have interaction, right? So I call it like the social learning experience, right? Where you can take feedback or learn from a video that is posted in the back end, and then you can ask the question. You're like, oh, Ian did this on this, but I didn't see what traffic source he was on because somebody mentioned it, and then you'll have feedback from people, right? Or let's say they watch a case study and they did it with a network, and the network comes in and participate. Hey, you need to do this. You need to get your TTRs up, right? So I think it's definitely good to have that backup scenario when it comes to information, especially with trying to find information. Obviously, like he said, there's STM, which has helped me a lot in the past. Obviously, when I try to find good people to talk to, I mean, I started with my affiliate network helping me out, right? And they told me what to run specifically and what keywords to run specifically, which is good, but it didn't give me any foundation to understand marketing. But still, I was able to understand why it is converted, right? So our hopes with the platform is to find out, oh, there's a good course out there. I already know a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna try to convert this into into the ABC Vault, right? And then with other people, we're going to take the curation. We'll probably curate it, see what's good, and obviously do a lot of interviews with people we trust, we know that are actually solid in the industry, that want to actually help and teach and to actually take their skill sets to the next level.
That's actually was the same story for me when I started. I started to run pops, and we even had, small team, and we even made money. But I didn't understand fully how the whole system, how the whole thing works. So I just knew if you buy traffic here and use this sort of creatives, and you uh, drive it to that kind of offers, you're gonna make money. But the whole system was something uncertain for me, and it took a couple of years for me to understand the whole thing. So probably a consolidated source of information must provide affiliates with that information, with this foundation that anything can be built on, and that's probably is our goal as the end of this
Yeah, that
conversation. We can
I think that is
summarize
the
it.
goal, and that is my
Yeah.
goal since the beginning. And I know Aki and I share the same vision as well with that. So yeah,
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. What made me thinking that I need to learn those foundation, and I even enrolled to a course by what iStack, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Affiliate Mastermind or something. That was what made me thinking to enroll there is that what we had been doing for a year, making money, suddenly stopped converting, and I didn't know how to proceed because everything that I had known back then was one simple funnel. So foundation is the key here. And yeah, go ahead, man.
By the way, I just remembered the PDF file. It's from IM Grind, from Internet
yeah,
Marketing Grind,
I am great. Yeah.
from Revive. It was Revive Media, I think, and MobiTrax or MobiTrix or something
Oh,
like it.
Mobitrack.
yeah, because
You're all dinosaurs,
he
guys.
partnered with Ryan, and he has a
With
hosting
Ryan,
company.
yeah, with Ryan,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
remember he partnered with Ryan. It was, I'm sure it was like, but I remember this PDF file, this document he had like a big IM
yeah,
logo,
on the
like
back of his
IM
neck.
Grind
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the back.
So,
that's
guys,
crazy.
on this note, I would like us to wrap it up. That has been great pleasure as always talking
Sure.
to you, and I know that we can keep that for ages, but it's really time for us to say goodbye to our listeners. That was our first episode. Expect many more to come, and just the final closing word from each of you. Aki, you begin first.
Well, thank you all for listening to our first episode pilot of AB Conversation. Sorry. Sign up for the newly platform. We have worked super hard in it, and the whole team. Also, super happy that Ian joined the team recently, and I'm sure that we will all have enough to provide you, and that you will like really get to know, to learn, and to follow a lot of our courses, which we're going to put on there also for free. And just know that our goal is really to help everyone out there and to connect people out like in the worldwide. So stay healthy, stay positive, and yeah, sign up for the newly ABC platform.
Oh man, I don't
Ian.
know how I could top that one. But yeah, exactly what Aki says. We're working hard on ABC platform. Hopefully, the content that we're going to be pushing out, we have a lot of stuff planned. We're going to be pushing out more of these conversations out to everybody, especially in the industry. We'll have a content in the back from taking my knowledge set and put it into the ABC Vault. So whatever you guys need to know, and I know a lot of people know me, like I'm very open-minded, very open with conversation. So all you have to do is just simply just ask, and usually I'm the first one to just give feedback, especially in the chat or in the community room. So yeah, come join, and hopefully you enjoy this show, and then Roman will be taking care of the rest, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Yeah, and
What's your
And guys, if you do have any suggestions on how we can improve or who we should have next as a guest, just comment and we try to make it happen. for now, for the time being, just bye bye. Thanks for everything, and we are all signing off now.